Now at 5, Utah lawmakers are back to work at the state capitol, where they're live with everything you need to know about this year's legislative session. Plus, middle school students in Sandy back to in-person learning after asbestos was found in the classroom. Hear where they're going to school now. And the Paiute murder suspect accused of killing a 16-year-old girl appeared in court today, who the judge banned him from speaking to.
Live from Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News celebrates 75 years.
Welcome to ABC4 News at 5 o'clock. I'm Emily Flores. We thank you for joining us here this evening. We do begin with the 2023 legislative session that is kicked off today. ABC4's chief political correspondent and anchor, Glen is live at the state capitol with a recap of what's going on and how the legislatures and lawmakers are ready to get to work. Glen?
Yeah, here we go again. Emily, lawmakers back to work today for the first day of the legislative session. A lot of hot issues will be taken up this year. We have the budget, we have potential tax cuts, transgender rights, and school vouchers. Helping us break down the legislative session is columnist Robert Gehrke with the Salt Lake Tribune, also a regular guest on Inside Utah Politics. Robert, appreciate your time. You wrote an article previewing the session. You made an interesting comparison between young Robert Gehrke coming in for the first time 26 years ago, wide-eyed and optimistic, and now the gray, jaded, cynical Robert Gehrke. Politics will do that to a person.
It will, and you've spent enough time up here. You spend a few more than your share up here, I think, and you kind of get used to how things work, and you see a lot more. And I think this session has the makings to be one that, you know, kind of disappoints in that regard. I mean, there's some things to be a little skeptical about.
You talk about that in your article. Let's get into a few of those points. You say this is a year that could be a culture war like we haven't seen before. Talk about why.
Yeah, I feel like we've got a lot of these issues coming to a head. You mentioned transgender issues, the abortion issue. They're going to be working on that, refining that. You know, there's just ESG, the environmental, social, and governance scores, basically. There's these issues that have been kind of percolating out there for a number of years, and now we're going to see them kind of come to a head, and they're all coming to a head at once, including, you know, school vouchers. There's going to be a bill up tomorrow morning on abortion, trying to sort of reinstate that outright ban that passed, you know, after Dobbs. And so all of these are coming to a head, and it kind of overshadows a lot of the things that we talked about, transportation, taxes, things like that.
There's some things you would like to see the legislature do that you don't think they will. Talk about some of those.
Well, I mean, some of them I think they will do. I mean, I think tax cuts, transportation, you know, we've talked a little bit about some of the environmental issues, the Great Salt Lake and other water issues. All of these things have big issues that need to be addressed. And they kind of get pushed aside a little bit by some of these culture war issues. But yeah, I'm hopeful. Housing affordability and homelessness, for example. There's a commitment to do something on it, and we kind of have to wait and see how it plays out.
What is it about today's environment that we're seeing these culture wars come to a head like this?
I think it's sort of our divided politics. I think there's a lot of incentive for politicians to score political points, to grandstand and cater to their base, especially in this state where most of our elections aren't competitive for a two-party or even at the primary level. They kind of got to cater to that convention crowd. And so, you know, both sides, but especially on the Republican majority side, they cater to the extremes. And so that's what the extremes want. They want vouchers. They want the abortion bills or bans. They want transgender bans on hormone therapy and surgery for minors. And so, you know, those are the things that kind of get a lot of attention. And people, especially young, sort of more strident legislators, are really eager to seize on those and score points.
Yeah, I know you've heard from your sources as well as I have that some of these issues you talk about, vouchers, the transgender bills, they're going to start moving this week. What about this? We saw this happen last year as well, really getting into the big, beefy issues in the first week of the session.
Yeah, I mean, I think because some of these other issues, things like how much we're going to spend on housing, affordability, those take a little bit more time to play out and kind of reliant on the budget. So you can tee these up right away. They're going to get a lot of headlines, but then maybe you can put them aside and move on to the other things of the day. And so, yeah, it's going to be, we're opening with a bang, you know.
Yeah.
The abortion bill up tomorrow. Probably have vouchers before the end of the week. There's the transgender bill that could be up by the end of the week. All of these are moving very, very quickly.
One thing you make an argument for that you don't think will get done would be all-day kindergarten. We dealt with that last year. It's going to be up again this year. Talk about why you believe that's important.
Well, they're taking these incremental steps to try to incentivize, I guess, districts to adopt this. But we know what the benefits are of all-day kindergarten. Kids do better when they have that sort of early foundation. It's just a matter of putting the money behind it. And so far, they've been a little reluctant to do it in a big way. I think if they made it statewide, we'd see the benefits, and all of Utah would see the benefits of that.
All right, Robert, appreciate your insight and your perspective on the upcoming session. We'll be following along for the next 45 days. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Talking
Appreciate
again.
it.
Thanks.
Yep.